What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some of Julio Jones' best route running from the 2020 season so far. We're going to be talking about how you guys can run a deep out, how you guys can run a post out or a blaze out, and then we're going to be talking about how you guys can run a hitch and sell vertical on a hitch and what's the technique behind a hitch, okay? So I hope this video gives you guys some value, and guys, if you're a receiver and you want to get better hands, again, don't have a quarterback to throw to you, check out that link in the description to learn how you can improve your hands without a quarterback, without somebody throwing 100 footballs to you every day. Check out that link that says improve your hands in 30 days, full 30-day catching program. Let's get started. So first things first here, when we're running this deep out route, especially against zone coverage, right? Zone coverage, he's facing towards the quarterback. He's bailing out of there. I'm trying to stay over the top, trying to prevent anything from getting behind him, right? So what do I got to do as a receiver? I got to make sure that I push vertical, I attack him, I try to step on his toes, and I really get him to commit and really get him to believe fade, because he knows that nobody wants to get beat over the top on a fade, especially when they're in zone coverage, right? So let's watch it full speed again. So he's pushing vertical, attacks the weak hips, snaps this thing off, and then gets out of there. Doesn't give him time to react. That's a great job by Julio, and he's so good at being able to cut on a dime. You're going to hear us talk a lot about that today, just being able to cut right now, being able to put your foot in the ground, drop your hips, and get out of this break right now. That's the main goal today, and that's what we're going to be talking a lot about today, right? So when I come off the line, everybody says, oh, sell vertical. Everything's a fade until it's not. What exactly does that mean? What that means is you want to keep the same stride. You want to keep a great pad level, which is good body language. Body language is super important. Chest forward, striding out, pumping your arms, and driving, right? You want to make sure that your arms are going, your arms are running full speed, or not running full speed, but you're driving your arms full speed and your legs are running full speed, because the only way I'm able to decelerate going this fast is by dropping my hips, and that's what we're going to be talking about. And especially when you're a freak athlete like Julio is, big guy, fast guy, you're going to be a threat downfield no matter what. Just from lining up like DK Metcalf, you're a threat just from lining up on the line of scrimmage to beat him over the top. So when we're here and we see this DB bailing, right? He's trying to stay over the top. I got to continue to press. I got to continue to move forward and attack his front hip right here. So in this case, his right hip, because I really want to force him to turn out and run, right? Because when I do decide to break this thing off, we want to force a speed turn. And then if I accelerate out of there and I do my job and create energy at the top of the break, I'm going to win no matter what, as long as it's a good ball, right? So again, Julio does a great job of attacking. You see his stride length, right? Staying in the same stride, pumping his arms, eyes are forward. He's almost keeping his head down, and then he's able to snap right now. And how do we get out of this break, right? His hips are what decelerates him. I can't stress that enough. It's not about slowing down, right? I've seen a lot of receiver coaches work stuff like, you want to run up to the top of the break and slow down and then get out of there, right? That's not what it's about. It's about creating energy. Yes, you're going to slow down naturally, but how do you do that? Do you create energy when you slow down, or do you completely stop your momentum and then you have to start again and then you have no explosion out of the break? Your hips is almost like think of it as like a trampoline almost, right? When you jump down on a trampoline, you stop your momentum, but it shoots you back up. You want to think of your hips as like you're shooting down, then you're shooting right back out. So you see how when he drops here, hips get low, right? Hips are at almost a parallel position or just below parallel, and his chest is forward. He's not leaning back. His back isn't vertical. When you guys drop into this break, so many people go heel first or foot first, and they lean back and they try to turn this left shoulder. They try to turn this left shoulder out of there. That kills your explosion. You want to keep your chest forward, use your hips to slow you down, and then what happens to get your hips out of this break is you want to snap your eyes back around and rip your elbows around, right? You see how he's here, and that makes that DB fall because we closed that gap. We stepped on his toes, and we were able to cut on a dime. That's how you create separation. Sell vertical, make him believe fade, make him believe like he's going to take an inside release, run a skinny post, whatever it is, get him to be running full speed, get him on that horse, snap this thing off with my hips, and then I snap my head around and I run out of this break to widen the distance, right? Anybody can create separation at the top of the route, but can I widen the distance? Can I pump my arms? Can I continue to drive my legs so I widen the separation so it's an easy completion for that quarterback? Great route here by Julio. Let's watch this thing again full speed one more time. So he's coming out here running full speed, pops it up right now, snaps this thing, violent hips, powerful steps. Make sure you snap that head around to get your hips out. So now we're going to be looking at this post out route here. So we're mainly going to be talking about how you guys can sell a double move route and how you guys can get out of a post out effectively, right? So same thing, zone coverage, right? So you're probably going to see a lot of zone on Julio. That's just part of it. That's just part of being who he is. He's just going to get a lot of zone coverage. And especially if you're a bigger receiver or a dangerous guy downfield, you got to know, okay, I'm going to probably be getting a lot of zone coverage. I got to learn how to attack zone. I get that question asked a lot in the last couple months as the season started in some states. And that's why I've been trying to do more zone coverage stuff, because you guys got to understand how to attack man, but also how to attack zone. So when I come off again, what am I seeing? I see this guy facing chasing the quarterback, so I got to know I got to attack him. This should be just an automatic pre-snap thought in your head. Automatic. You know the play. You've run through the play a million different times in practice. I know what I need to do against this coverage. I know what I need to do against this coverage, and let's go. It's muscle memory at that point, and there are different systems, right? This isn't just like a universal thing. Different systems that you play in who might teach different methods, and you guys got to adapt to those methods, but take some of these key coaching points with you to make yourself a better route runner. So when I come off the line here, you see how he's running at him, attacking that weak hip, trying to get him to believe fade, because even on a post out route, post corner post, whatever it is, I still got to sell vertical. No matter what route, we're going to be talking about a hitch route next, and we're going to be talking about how you guys can get separation on a hitch, and that's a 5-yard route, right? How can you guys get separation on a hitch is by pushing vertical, much like everything else that you do on that route tree. So when I break here to the post, I want everything about this to sell post. That's the thing about a double move is you want to make, I teach 3 points of attack. Eyes, you want to commit your torso, so your hips and shoulders, and then you want to keep the same speed, because that's how you would run a post, right? If you were going to run an actual post, I would break here. I'd snap my eyes, commit my shoulders, commit my hips, and I'd be running full speed. What a lot of people do is they do the first two, and then the speed is they chop their steps and they prepare for this break. They slow down. That's going to tell me as a DB, hey, man, he ain't running a post. I know he's not running a post because he ain't running full speed. I'm going to watch his hips too, and a lot of guys will snap their eyes. They'll run, but their shoulders and hips will drift upfield. If I'm a DB, man, I know he ain't running a post because look where he's looking. Hips, right? So you got to make sure that we commit my torso, snap those eyes around, and stay full speed. Now, how I get out of a post out or a blaze out, they call this blazing the out right here. You want to snap with your hips. Again, much like that out route we were talking, chest goes forward so I can run out of it. You guys want to make sure that your breaks, you're running in and you're running out. You're not breaking down, slowing down, then turning out. You're not going to be turning this left shoulder. Julio's chest goes down so he could actually keep a good momentum forward, almost like a 40-yard dash. When you guys run a 40-yard dash, you don't stand straight up. You don't pop your chest straight up in the air then try to run. You keep your chest down and you drive. You freaking drive out of there so you create as much explosion as possible so it gets you to the acceleration phase of the 40. There's also an acceleration phase of a route, right? So you're here, you're in a very strong energy position right here. You snap on that inside leg, 3 steps, violent hips. So now we're snapping. Now the goal is to get your hips turned back on a 90. So this second step right here, you got to pivot, right? And you see how Julio pivots his second step. When you pivot your second step, your third step is going to hook back around. And now that third step can push and drive you back out to the sideline. So when you're running this post out and you snap on that third leg, which would be the right leg, your left leg wants to pivot, your right leg wants to hook around. So now my hips are turned towards the sideline. All I got to do is rip my arms and continue to drive. I kept my chest forward because when I snapped, I got into an explosive position, and now I can widen the gap with this DB, and I can continue to accelerate. That's a great rider by Julio. Textbook post out route. Let's watch this thing again, full speed one more time. So he's coming off here, breaks this thing to post, 1, 2, 3, snap this thing off, run those arms out of there, then make this play. Great route. All right, so now we're going to be looking at this hitch route, okay? So again, main thing is just how can we decelerate? Great job after the catch too here by Julio. How can we decelerate on a dime? The goal of this is on a hitch route, a slant route, a quick 5-yard out route, is for as long as possible we want to be able to sell vertical, right? So you only get 5 yards to do this in this case. So we got to make sure that I sell vertical. He's going off that second outside step. He's violent with his hips, and you see how he's not turning early. He's still committed with his shoulders, still committed with his hips. This is where a lot of people go wrong, right? A hitch route, in my opinion, is pretty easy to run. A lot of people snap on the inside leg, but again, that shows you that there's different methods, right? He's snapping on the outside leg. A lot of people go on that like second inside, they snap it up, they just do that drop, then hook that leg around, and they sit there. Julio goes in 3 steps, but he's still able to decelerate on a dime and push vertical. Why is he able to push vertical? Pad level, and he's able to stay in stride. You see how he doesn't cut down his strides. He stays in stride, violent with his hips. He's selling vertical. Again, chest stays forward, and he's able to snap that head around. Now, again, he doesn't turn this shoulder early. So many people are so lazy with this route, and they come out and they just turn into it. They'll open up this shoulder. You want to stay committed with your shoulders, stay committed with your hips, run in full speed, use your hips to decelerate you, hips decelerate, pivot with the inside leg, and snap that head around and make this play. That's how you sell vertical, fellas. That's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to push vertical, try to get this DB to bail out of there as much as you can, especially when it's zone coverage and you got to run a hitch route. But even if it's man coverage, let's go back. I get this question asked a lot. Let's say it's man coverage and he's inside leverage right here. I maybe give him a quick jab off the inside, speed release, then I push vertical. I push vertical right now. I'm running still second inside. I keep a good pad level. I stay in the same stride. I use my hips to decelerate me, and maybe I swat him by. That's how you guys would do this against man coverage. It's all the same, right? There's no specific thing that you got to do when it's different. You got to make sure that you push vertical. You got to make sure that your hips decelerate. It's like dropping an anchor out of a ship, and that creates generates energy so you could shoot back to the ball, or it just decelerates you and you're able to put that foot in the ground and just stop right now. It all ties into body control and it all ties into balance as well. That's why those two traits are important for especially bigger receivers to have. Let's watch this thing again full speed one more time. Making sure I'm selling vertical. Commit your hips. Don't turn early because that's an indicator. No indicator to this DB. Everything's a fade until we snap it off and drop my hips. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And also, guys, if you want to get better hands, right? Better catching, no quarterback throwing to you, check out that link in the description. It says improve your hands in 30 days. I'll see you guys next time.